It is either late night Saturday, October 25th, or Sunday, October 26th. Either way, this is a World Series edition of Baseball Today. It is presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well, as the best of 7 World Series tied at a game apiece after the Dodgers took care of the Blue Jays. Woo! We got ourselves a series, don't we?
We do. It's a best of 5 now, Chris. 1-1. Dodgers answering back after getting the absolute you-know-what kicked out of them last night. Big game for them. Big game for our guy Yamamoto. Holy shnikes.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. Tip of the cap. I got to tell you, Toronto has done it up. First World Series up there in more than 3 decades. They had the amazing rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner in O Canada before Game 1. Then they bring back the legend that, of course, walked it off in Game 6 of the 93 World Series, Joe Carter. After his first pitch, he gets to slide on the home run jacket. I know you're not a huge fan of the whole shtick and everything, but that's pretty good.
Well, it's not just this jacket. I just think every time you hit a home or having to do some silly thing, I'm out on it, but I'm fine with it. I love Joe Carter. I can only just imagine. I mean, look, the guy was a great player, had some back-to-back World Series. We talked about it, caught the last out of the 92, then walks off 93. But he can go around every single day. Don't you think he thinks about, I'm that guy that walked off 93? To this day, we're talking, how many years is that, Chris? I'm not great at math. I think it is 32.
32.
Actually was really good at math, if we're being honest. Every day he thinks about that, right? And why wouldn't he?
Yes. And he'll tell you about it. And why not? I do want to tell you something about Joe Carter. So people don't know this, but he got traded from the Cubs to the Indians and was a very, very good player. 30-30 guy until we traded him to San Diego for Sandy Alomar, among others, Carlos Baerga, Chris James. Actually, pretty good trade for the Indians. Okay. But Joe used to play left field, and back in cavernous Cleveland Municipal Stadium, where we got sometimes 5,000 fans a game. It was horrible. I was at a game one time where you could communicate with him. One time he sneezed. A woman said, "Bless you." He turned around and said, "Thank you."
Oh, my God.
That's the sort of conversations we could have back in Cleveland because nobody was there. It was very funny.
And then they put a 40-foot wall on left, so now you can't.
No, now you can't. And we got some pretty good crowds,
455
consecutive sellouts back in the day in the Jake. Anyway, let's talk about what happened in Game 2, because after Game 1, we looked at that Blue Jays offense that has been rolling since the onset against the Yankees, taking it in the ALCS against the Mariners, and then dusting Blake Snell and a beleaguered bullpen in Game 1. And we were like, wow, what are they going to do to Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Well, the answer is not much.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped up. Left side. Yamamoto goes the distance again. World Series mastery. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Game 2 of the World Series against the Blue Jays, has thrown a complete game, retiring the final 20 that he faces.
I mean, he was just absolutely incredible. He was, 2 starts in a row where, he gave leadoff homer last time, and then today he threw 20, 25 pitches in the first inning. I don't know what the number was. I know it was a lot. And then in order to keep his pitch count down and complete an entire game, it's just really, really impressive. Nothing seems to faze him, and it's really fun watching him pitch.
That's Max Muncy, who, of course, played a huge role offensively for the Dodgers and helping them get this win. I got to tell you, when I watch him, it's like watching a baseball artist and on a tapestry, on a canvas out there, I should say. He's just remarkable.
Yeah, and an artist that can, go through many different mediums, if you will, because he has all the different pitches and he can spot them and do everything. And it was on full display again. And, I think Muncy, pointed out something that was, very, very true. I mean, they had Yamamoto on the ropes first inning and then the third inning again. But he was able to, divert traffic, avoid any sort of, collateral damage there in the first inning. Gets Vladdy to strike out, gets this line out from Kirk, and then this big curveball going 3-0 on Varsho. So working through all that traffic, right? Doing a great job. Pitch count up though, And now again, like I wasn't live tweeting this game. I was doing some different things, but I could have sent the exact same tweet out at that time that I sent out in game 1. We're probably going to see this Dodgers bullpen for 4+ innings, and that would have been a very tough thing for Dodgers fans to swallow again. So again, I think the Blue Jays had him on the ropes, but because he's able to navigate through traffic, and then he had innings of 6 pitches, innings of 11 pitches, and by the time he got into the later innings, you knew that Dave Roberts was like, I am not going to have to use my bullpen. If anything, I can go straight to Sasaki. Ends up he didn't have to.
So 104 pitches total, 8 strikeouts against that lineup, which, I gave Blake Snell a line. I think that in game 1, my prediction was 6 2/3. He was going to strike out 8. And all the Blue Jays fans pushed back and they were like, there's no way he's striking out 8 Blue Jays. And the more I thought about it, I was like, God, I'm such an idiot. He ended up striking out 4 and he went 5+. Well, here, Yamamoto got 8 and he didn't walk a single batter. Here's the amazing thing. In setting down those last 20 of the game, only 3 Blue Jays saw more than 4 pitches in a single at-bat. So the thing that the Blue Jays have done better than any other offense throughout the year, and especially here against the best pitching in baseball in October, is they've kept bats alive, right? Kirk had a 9-pitch at-bat, an 8-pitch at-bat. We have seen guys work counts, foul off good pitches until somebody makes a mistake, grooves one, they it, whatever it is. And Yamamoto, outside of the 0-2 leadoff fastball to Springer that he got up, I can't remember too many more mistakes in the game.
No, he didn't make really any. I mean, again, like he was just dicing these guys up, and to Gausman's credit, he was kind of going toe and toe until that Will Smith at bat there in the 7th. So that's what we saw in the middle part of this game was just 2 guys absolutely racing through the game. Offense is basically nowhere to be found, and Yamamoto did look that way. I mean, he threw 6 different pitches tonight. He threw 4 of them over 13% of the time. He was splitter heavy tonight, threw a lot of them in the first inning. But to be able to command that amount of pitches during a game, it makes it very, very difficult for an offense. We saw that all night with the Blue Jays, a team, like you mentioned, that usually just befuddles pitchers and frustrates them. You didn't see that once from him. Mm-mm. Not once. I mean, even during those times where he had runners on, like he doesn't blink, man. And he understands I can make my pitches. And I think that's the kind of pitcher he is. He's like, I'm not pitching to your weaknesses. Like, I know what I do. And if I execute my pitches, I'm going to get you out.
Pretty good. Few other names and numbers to get through. Yamamoto is the first pitcher to throw multiple complete games in the same postseason since Mad Bum did it 11 years ago. He's the first pitcher to throw back-to-back complete games in a single postseason since Curt Schilling did it in 2001, and he actually did it in 3 straight, which is really remarkable. He's the first Dodger to do it in the postseason since Orel Hershiser had a remarkable run in 1988 where he was back-to-back MVPs in the NLCS and then the World Series as the Dodgers ended up taking care of the Oakland A's that year. It's interesting because Yamamoto is a guy, I think a lot of people were curious how he would handle the pressure of the Dodgers being down 1-0 and everybody getting on the side of the Blue Jays with the offensive run that they have had, not in the last few weeks, but basically the entire season, and just how they have built this offense and executed. I think we forget that he became a big leaguer in Japan 3 days after his 19th birthday. So he has been dealing with the pressure. He has pitched in their World Series multiple times. He has been their MVP 3 times. He came over here, and I don't know how many tweets could have been dug up about former major leaguers saying, we're making him the highest paid starting pitcher, and he's never thrown a pitch over here. Well, those are the ones that aren't going to age well, right? Are one of our favorite expressions. But now we all just have to look at him and be like, you know what? The Dodgers were right, and you're awesome.
And I think, and I'm trying to get immersed in the Japanese culture because I am going to Japan in November. So, I've been doing some research. I do think that is kind of, in that culture, like understanding that preparation, can do away with some of those negative thoughts in situations like he found himself in the first couple innings. Like that's what it's all about is I'm prepared. I'm going to do my job. And that's the mindset that he has. I mean, you hear stories about his routine and what he does to prepare for games. And, if I mean, like anybody can go through the same thing. If you prepare really well for something, like how confident are you going to be during it? Like very. He's a student of the game, student of his routine, or that doesn't make any sense. Sticks to the routine, does it. And I think that's why we don't see him get flustered.
And Dave Roberts said in his post-game interview that said there's a lot of pressure on you when you pitch over in Japan. And Dave knows this. He's part Japanese. That is the number one sport over there. As much as we love it, it's down the ladder here behind football. It is not the most popular sport. We love it, and it is on a really good run, and it's in a really good place. In Japan, it is religion. It is very different over there. And he has pitched in the World Baseball Classic, which, although it was awesome for us to watch Trout against Ohtani, at the end of the day, we're like, okay, now let's get ready for the regular season. I think it was a huge deal for them over in Japan. And Dave made that point that when you have to pitch for your country and when you have to pitch in the number one sport in your country, that this sort of stuff, it prepares you for moments like this.
Yeah, I guess like if there was another nation that called American football their national pastime, like that would be like our guys going up against that nation. Like how crazy would that be?
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. Love it. This game is getting so good, so worldly. Like it makes me so happy when I start thinking about. You mentioned the Japanese culture. Thinking about all the Latin American countries that are represented. Like I just think it's just so cool. It's one of my favorite things of playing was getting to know guys from different areas, even in the U.S. I mean, gosh, we have such different cultures all throughout, and like everyone being in that clubhouse working towards a common goal. Nothing better than that.
Well, Blake Snell talked about it in the previous round about how much he learns from Yamamoto. They don't speak the same language, but the fact that they're able to exchange ideas based on what they both do brilliantly.
I think it works both ways. Everyone feeds off each other. There are things that the American guys do that are different. I think the bravado of some of the American players really can rub off on the Japanese players. Like, I don't know. You just learn little things from every single person you play from. It's so cool.
And by the way, if you're the Jays, obviously it sucks. You had a chance to go up 2-0, but I think you feel okay because you're like, that's just
we got Yamamoto'd.
I mean, you got Yamamoto'd, right? You turn it into a verb and you say, listen, we'll take our chances against Glasnow in Game 3, which we'll have plenty of time to talk about.
I say like Yamamoto, like he's routine oriented, very disciplined, all these things. It doesn't, it helps that he also throws 97 with a freaking wipeout split. Like he's got the stuff too. So another reason to be confident.
He's awesome. So World Series right now, it's in full swing. We want you to keep up with the entire postseason with T-Mobile. It's the best network in America, according to Ookla Speed Test. With the most towers, a signal that goes farther than ever before, and the most advanced 5G, you can catch even more of the World Series. So whether you're streaming the games out and about, or you're checking stats on the road, or you're cheering on your team at the ballpark, you're connected wherever your fandom takes you. Head on over to T-Mobile.com/network to switch to the very best network for baseball fans. It's better over here. Trust us on that one. All right, let's talk a little bit about Yamamoto's battery mate. The game was actually tied at 1 until he took the game into his own hands.
3-2. High drive deep to left field. It's Smith with a big swing into the second deck. He's given the Dodgers the lead in the 7th.
He's the best player on the Dodgers we virtually never talk about.
We talk about him all the time. Come on.
I don't know if we do. I think part of the reason why is this. He's good, but not great in the playoffs. He's been hurt at times down the stretch. He missed 60 games this year or something? Still at a 900 OPS. But look at this. He gets him on the board, right? Freddie hits that awesome double down the line with 2 down, and then 2 out knock by Will Smith, getting him on the board, and then he gives him the lead again. And right after that, he looks into the dugout and is like, let's effing go. Let's do it. He just kind of goes about his business.
Yeah, I mean, two totally different pitches, getting the job done on that slider down in the way, or at least away right there, keeps the hands through it, finds that middle part of the field. That's kind of like that's a gamer swing right there. Like he got beat, he got fooled a little bit on that. But to be able to manipulate your body and your bat pat to stay through is very impressive. And then even that 3-2 pitch that he ends up pulling for a homer. I mean, you know how he starts out with his hands. He has them like basically fully extended when he starts. That's like his setup. And then, he gets this pitch and watch him pull him in, man. And just short, compact, like, at that point, he sees that pitch in and his thought isn't, I'm going to hit a homer here. He says, I'm going to keep my hands inside this ball and get the barrel to it. And a homer happened. And I think that is the reason I make that point is he's just a good hitter. And he knows how to get his barrel to the ball. Both those pitches, one away, stays through it. Next one in, pulls the hands in, again, keeps them inside, stays through it, pulls the ball the right way, because if he doesn't, he hooks that thing foul. It's the manipulation of his body to get the barrel to the ball is, it's a reason why he's, such a good hitter as a catcher. And in general, as a catcher, I shouldn't have said that.
I mean, listen, Gossman had been clicking. I mean, he had been nailing it. 17 straight, which is really, really impressive. You know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. We got to get to this word real quick. Hold on one second. Hey, listen, I figure that if the Jonas brothers are good enough to interrupt the middle of a World Series game, they can also do it on our show. Why not? Why not? The number of people who said this just killed the momentum of the World Series. I had to chuckle a little bit. I mean, we're talking about cancer for a second, I
didn't know you had it in you to do that.
I mean, come on.
Because I didn't know this was coming. And yes, everyone thought the exact same thing. And that's no offense to the Jonas Brothers. They're just doing their job. They're doing what they're told to do there.
Yeah.
And they're doing it for the right reasons. Stand to cancer, beautiful moment right there.
Right.
But to add a mid-game concert is
a little strange.
It's absurd, Chris. Everyone thought that.
I can tell you this.
I was watching the game with one of my friends, and we both were like, "Did we turn the channel? Did someone change the World Series? Like, what is going on?"
Well, listen, I've had the good fortune of covering, I don't know what it is, 17, 18 World Series, and I have been a part of those moments, and they are awe-inspiring. Like, for the entire place to be silent and everybody's holding signs.
Oh, yeah, those are great. That's great.
It is an incredibly powerful moment, and I love the moment of unity. I don't know whose idea it was to have a concert bust out in the middle of.
Did it actually? I'm trying to think. Okay, so how long from the moment of silence to the end of that? How long was it?
Well, so I think we went commercial break, which is what they do. That's to get everybody
right.
That's right around there. Whatever, maybe 3:10 in the World Series.
For the World Series, a little longer, yeah.
Yeah. So they do that to get everybody to stand up and be ready to go so they can hand out their signs so that all the players and the umpires and the announcers, where Fox needs to get its crew out there, everybody is, and the fans are all ready. And like I said, that is a very powerful moment, and it is important, and we're not here making fun of that at all. But then usually they take a quick break right afterward or something like that, and instead they went to a concert.
It must have been, I'm trying to think now, just in my head. Let's call it 90 seconds for the stand up to cancer part.
Okay.
Was it longer than that, you think?
Might have been. Maybe.
Let's just call it 90 seconds. And then the Jonas Brothers concert was another
2 minutes.
2 minutes? I don't know, man. It was strange.
It was just strange. Once again, we are not saying anything again. It is a beautiful moment. It has been extremely well done. It is so important in terms of stand up to cancer. I've held that sign for people that I love and some people I've lost as well since, holding up those signs. So believe me, these are separate things. My gosh. I don't think we'll be doing that in the future. Could be wrong. What I tell you at the beginning of this World Series, we each had to pick a person that maybe was a little bit below the radar, but was going to make some sort of statement. I thought Max Muncy's.
Yeah, you said Max Muncy's your guy.
And it was huge because 2-1, nice. Great, we'll take that lead. 3-1, it gives you at least a little wiggle room to make a mistake. Not that Yamamoto was going to, but, and Gossman had made him look silly a little bit earlier and challenged him fastball, and Muncy did a great job staying on it.
A great swing by him, because you have to be able to put the ball in the air of the opposite field like that, and have it go for a home run. You have to be, number one, you have to be strong, and number two, the swing has to be right. You're right. Like as the Dodgers go, as he goes, essentially their offense, they truly do. We saw it throughout the year when he was playing, and after he had the glasses, things really clicked for the Dodgers. When he wasn't in there, the lineup looked different. Mm-hmm. So to have him, and I do have to say, Andy Pages at the bottom of the lineup got a knock today. To have those two guys producing, I mean, that's a welcome sight for the Dodgers, who really haven't. I don't think they've clicked offensively yet. No, and maybe they won't. Maybe they're not going to, and they're going to have to rely on their starting pitching to get them through this postseason run. But yeah, I mean, it's good when the Dodgers can have those two guys doing it.
Yeah, they've had their moments offensively, but outside of the 2-game wild card sweep against the Reds, they have had very, very little consistency.
Yes.
And, you want to give that credit to the pitchers as well when it comes to that.
Chris, so I just went into my Twitter and searched Jonas Brothers, because I hadn't even thought about the social media reaction to it, because I was kind of off my phone tonight. Just hilarious.
Anything good you want to share?
I'm just reading. Toronto Blue Jays moved to 0-1 all-time in World Series games, interrupted by a Jonas Brothers performance. Where were you when the Jonas Brothers saved the Dodgers season? This is going to turn into the Super Bowl when they had the blackout.
When the lights went out. Super Bowl 47 down in New Orleans. Hey, you want to hear a funny story about that? So I'm getting ready to host part of the post-game show. I'm in the green room, which is in the bowels of the old Superdome down there in New Orleans, okay? It is in some dark, dank place. We're watching the television feed, which is about 10 seconds behind the live action. So you can hear when there's cheers. You just don't know what happened until you see it on the screen. All of a sudden we hear, ah! We're like, holy shit, what happened? And the place goes dark. Everything just goes zzz. It shuts down. And I'm like, I ain't sticking around for this shit. I grab my backpack. I'm in my suit, and I'm walking. I'm going to go walk outside, because I am not standing around to see what's going to happen inside this building. We had no idea. Who do I run into but my old buddy from the Best Damn Sports Show period, Tom Arnold, whom I hadn't seen in years. He goes, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I was like, "Tom, what's going on?" And we're talking and whatever. The auxiliary lights have now popped on at this point. He goes, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Well, Tom, I'm not sticking around just in case there's something going on." He goes, "Oh, you always were kind of a pussy anyway."
Spot the lie.
There isn't one. There really isn't. He kind of nailed it. All right, so now the series 1-1, and it heads back to Los Angeles. We'll have a travel day, off day, get ready day for Game 3, and then we're back in action in Game 4. Get to the pitching matchup in just a second. But what has surprised you most about the series through 2 games?
I think it's the manager's reluctance to go to the bullpen, or just the sheer not wanting to go to the bullpens. And we talk about, the Dodgers bullpen has been bad, and Toronto doesn't really have a guy they truly trust out there. But it's coming to fruition now. Varland in again, he gives up more runs. The Dodgers, Dave Roberts is please, Lord, let me just go starter to Sasaki. That's usually not how it works in the playoffs, Chris.
Right.
We see it. How many years in a row we're no starters facing this lineup 3 times in a row? We're not letting him do that. That became a thing, a talking point for baseball, so much that Rob Manfred's we need to get starters back, to be the drawing portion of the show. Like, we need to have them be the draw. And here we are in the World Series, and we're seeing just that. Like, it's how far can these starters go? Because we're terrified to push the buttons in our bullpen. I think that's been the most absurd thing to me and what stood out the most. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're going to see that through the rest of the series too, because neither of these managers have guys that they're like, yep, I want to go to that guy and he's going to be good for me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think it's really going to start getting tested soon.
Yeah.
I think
in game 3
and possibly game 4, for both teams. I think it's about to get real scary, and I think both managers are really going to have to manage their asses off, and they are going to be gripping. There's no question. I think that's a good point by you. For me, it's the Dodgers lineup looking a little frantic, to be honest with you. I haven't seen a ton of great at-bats. I didn't mind Freddie Freeman swinging early in the count. In fact, Dave Roberts was being interviewed live when he hit one close to the track, and he said, I don't mind that swing by Freddie. He's just missed a couple, and I think that was true. But for the most part, Teo had a golden sombrero in game 2 and just looked horrific. And what I'm talking about, it's okay to not get hits. It's really, when I talk to you guys as major leaguers, it's about having the right process, being able to foul off pitches. And we have seen Toronto do that throughout the entire postseason run. Really, Yamamoto, this was the first time that they really struggled with that. And it's just because he pitched an incredible, incredible game. But even when pitchers are throwing okay at times, they still are able to kind of accomplish their mission at the dish. And the Dodgers just aren't making the other guys work. And it looks like they're kind of the inexperienced team at times.
Yeah, I mean, 5 runs on only 6 hits tonight. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And they've had to, they took advantage of a wild pitch in that 8th inning there for the Blue Jays to attack on runs. But they just haven't looked like an offense that is gelling in any way, shape, or form.
Nope. Hey, playoff season is here. Whether you're at a watch party or a tailgate or you're hanging with friends after the game, nothing levels up those moments like the refreshing tropical lime kick of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. As we know, Baja Blast, it's legendary. It's available everywhere in every shape and form. You can get it in a can. You can get it in a bottle. So throughout the Fall Classic, whether you're hanging with friends or rooting for your favorite team or against your least favorite, that's okay too. If you're grabbing food late night after a game, or maybe you were tailgating at a college football game on Saturday, going to the NFL game on a day off for the World Series, just grab something that'll really help tie it all together. That's Baja Blast. Do not wait. Grab Mountain Dew Baja Blast today and taste the tropical refresh that takes every occasion to the next level. Find it now at mountaindew.com/finddew. All right, Game 4 pitching matchup. We thought maybe it would be Tyler Glasnow against Shane Bieber. It will be Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. It will not be Shane Bieber for the Toronto Blue Jays. Instead, they're going to go with future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer. Here is Toronto's skipper as to why.
Him pitching in that environment, that's going to be a lot of hoopla, game 3, much like yesterday, or any game this series. He's pitched in that stadium. It keeps him available for game 7. And looking at Shane, I think, wanted to give him an extra day. What he has done coming off Tommy John 18 months later, I think, is probably best case scenario, you know what I mean, in terms of what he's been doing and how he's recovering. So you feel good about veteran guys in a hostile environment, and just kind of wanted to match the rest up accordingly too.
What do you think?
I think it makes sense. I don't mind it. I mean, we knew Scherzer was going to get a start, whether it's a game 3 or game 4. I think Schneider's saying we want to give Bieber an extra day. Like that, he is coming off major arm surgery, and for Scherzer, he's pitched in that stadium before. Like, everything makes sense. I don't think it necessarily matters. I do think that means that, well, it definitely means that Bieber's going to get one start, and then maybe we will see him possibly like in relief at some point, but probably not actually. So I guess in this sense, is it John Schneider choosing Scherzer over Bieber?
Yeah, I think
because you can say one extra day, but this means that's going to be Bieber's last time pitching, and you're going to, like you said, Scherzer will be available for game 7.
Well, that's the thing. This is as much about game 7 as it is about game 3. And there aren't that many people that pitched in Major League Baseball this year that know what it's like to start Game 7 of the World Series. In fact, Scherzer went against Zach Greinke in the last Game 7 we've had in the Fall Classic, 2019, when Washington beat Houston.
Great series. Sheesh.
Other guys that have done it that are still pitching, Yu Darvish pitched Game 7 against Lance McCullers in 2017, Dodgers against Astros. The year before, Kyle Hendricks took the ball for the Chicago Cubs and pitched exceptionally well. In fact, if Joe Madden doesn't take him out so early, the Indians don't make a comeback in that. But I just wanted to get that
Who
one
pitched
out.
for the Guardians or Indians?
Kluber.
Klubot?
Yeah, it was his third
He's a
time in
podcaster
8
now.
days. Yeah, he is. He is. But my point is this, is that there's not a lot of guys with that experience, so maybe I understand it. If we do get to Game 7, it would be the shortest leash of all. That's what's going to happen. And
will it be? We just talked about, like, who are they going to go to?
Well, at that point, then you have other starters that you can bring in.
Yeah.
You just do.
You have to.
Although, I will say this, that Toronto is going to kind of box itself into a corner if you're reluctant to use Bieber out of a bullpen in a Game 7. And this is for so far down the road. Let's hope we get to a Game 7. We love it as baseball fans, but if you don't want to use Bieber, and then you Savage, of course, 22 years old, do you want to use him in a Game 7 out of the bullpen? Of course, you would have to, but they've been talking about his routine. Well, that would screw with your routine.
It would.
So just want to throw that all out there.
Chris Bassett is still going to play a massive role
You're
in the
right.
World Series. I'm telling you.
Yep. That's a good one. So we've covered a lot in Game 2. What impressed you most about Yamamoto? Dodger fans, Blue Jay fans, how are you each feeling with a win under your belt, heading out to LA for Game 3 of the series? Who's going to make the biggest noise in the 3 games out in Los Angeles? Because we're guaranteed 3. We're just not guaranteed to go back to Toronto yet. We'll find out at the earliest on Tuesday if that is indeed happening. All right, before we get out of here, a little bit of news away from the World Series, courtesy of Bryce Harper, who talked to The Athletic on Saturday. He was responding to Dave Dombrowski, who said, I don't know if Bryce Harper is still an elite player. It's kind of up to Bryce to show us that. He was good this year. He battled through some injuries, but he wasn't elite. And I'm talking about a top 10 player. Well, here's what Harper had to say, because now his name has been kind of bantied about in trade talk, which Dombrowski shot down over on our friends over in foul territory. He came out and he said, listen, that's not happening. But Harper took it to heart. He said, I've given it my all to Philly from the start. Now there's trade talk. I made every effort to avoid this. It's all I heard in D.C. with the Nationals, and I hated it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Is there bad stuff a brewing in the city of not so brotherly love right now?
I mean, yeah, Dombrowski shouldn't have said that. Like even if you're one of those people like, hey, he's just trying to get the best version of Bryce Harper. It's like, well, talk to him. If you want to tell him that, tell him yourself. Don't go on some freaking show. Shout out our guys. Don't go on our show and do that.
Well, no, he did that at the year-end press conference.
That's true.
And then he clarified it on foul territory.
So yeah, there's obviously stuff brewing. Does it matter in the long run? I don't think so. But if you are Dave Dombrowski, I side with Bryce Harper here. He truly did. Like, he had the chance to go anywhere he wanted when he was a free agent. And I actually was shocked when he picked the Phillies, if we're being honest. But he said, I want to grow roots here. 13-year deal. And I'm shocked there's no trade clause, which is...
There's a no trade.
There is no trade. Okay, I was going to say. Then, so how can he get traded? Is it a limited no trade?
No. Well, now he's a 10-5 guy regardless. So even if there was...
He's been there for 5 years? I guess he has. Oh my God, I've been out of the game for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then what are we even talking about?
Well, I think what we're talking about is that he obviously is upset about this. And he's upset about what the lead executive of the Phillies said about him. I mean, whether or not you thought he aired him out or didn't is irrelevant, because it's what Bryce Harper thinks and feels that's important.
The trade talk did not come from Dombrowski then. That was just speculation by the media.
No,
oh,
right.
That's to me that's not a big deal. And yeah, if he's got 10-5, then like Okay, like that doesn't mean anything. I still don't like Dombrowski coming out and saying so. There's no reason to whatsoever.
I guess
If there's
that's
a
my
guy that
question.
doesn't need to be motivated, it's Bryce Harper.
Well, I guess that's my question is does there have to be a phone call? Does there have to be a sit down? Does there have to
Oh,
be
yeah.
something? If you were Dave Dombrowski, would you get on a plane and go to Vegas? I assume that's where he still lives in the off season right now.
To be honest with you, if I was Bryce Harper, I'd say, don't come out here. Like, shoot me a call. We can Zoom if you want, dude. Don't come out here. I'll
Okay.
see your face right now. Like,
Okay.
you think Bryce wants to waste a night going to freaking dinner with him? No. Call me. Dude, it's a 15-minute phone call. We'll be fine after that. But yeah, I deserve a phone call.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that Dombrowski handled it great. You knew that when those words tumbled out of his mouth, you knew it wasn't going to be great, that there was something that was going to come out of it. I didn't think necessarily that trade rumors would bounce around. But yeah, the fact that he feels, I think part of this is that Bryce has so much pride and respect for the game. And it's why he signed up essentially for a lifetime contract. He said, I didn't want the rumors constantly bouncing around there. I just didn't want it. So I am all in Philadelphia. And he is all in on Philadelphia.
100%. He said he's given it all to Philadelphia. I truly feel that way. And look, and is this showing Dave Dombrowski's age? Yes. I'm not saying he can't do his job at 69 years old. But we all have that 69-year-old relative that says some shit from time to time. Right? Am I right?
Well, be careful.
How old are you?
Not close to that.
That's what I'm saying.
Not close to it.
But everyone's like, yeah, you're right, Trev. We know. Right? It's just.
Yeah, it does happen.
At that age, you just start to say whatever crosses your mind.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's the oldest executive in the game.
Yeah.
So, you got to imagine from time to time he's going to slip up in the media.
Is
it great? No. Does it really matter in the long run? No.
Okay. All right. That'll do it. Dodgers get a gem from Yamamoto, tie the best of 7 series at a game apiece. And now we head west, and we will be back with a early morning edition on Monday. It'll be out. We'll preview Game 3 and what lies ahead. You're okay with that, right?
I'm stoked.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just making sure. All right. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Monday, bright and early, for a World Series Game 3 preview edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast.